Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Success Navigation. My name is Haseeb. I'm the founder of Brankit, and today I'm here with Dr. Muddassir. So, Dr. Muddassir has a lot of experience in supply chain, more than 20 years of experience only in supply chain domain. And apart from that, from last 5 years or more than that, he is running his own kind of a startup that is helping supply chain uh, through content, through services, and whatnot. And he's the founder of SCMDOJO, which is the startup that he's working from the last 5 years. And today we'll be discussing all the supply chain challenges and what exactly is SCMDOJO and how they are helping and improve the supply chain part. So, without wasting any further time, Dr. Mudassir, you can start a little bit with your introduction.
Thank you, Haseeb. Thank you, Brankit folks, for having me. It was great to meet you recently in Karachi. Your introduction made me look way older than I am actually. To my total experience is 17 years, and I'm doing SCM Dojo for last 14 months only. However, the blog was existing for last since 2018, but as a startup is only 14 months old, right? So
Great.
that's my introduction. I'm Karachiite. I'm Canadian, first batch of textile. I have a master's in brand production from Sweden and PhD from Lancaster University, which I did while working full time. So I worked for a company called Eaton since 2005 until 2017. Then I moved to Dubai as a head of planning and logistics for Bridgestone. While I was doing blogging, promoting the love of supply chain, then it got bigger and bigger to the extent that I left the job, and now what we're trying to do, our motto is, our vision is, we want to help supply chain thrive. And how we do that, we have created one of the biggest libraries of high quality supply chain courses. We got best practices, we got a lot of assessment tools, and now we are building the supply chain marketplace. So basically, someone like you can provide services globally, and hopefully, we'll be building some software in terms of demand planning, inventory management, spend analytics, and so on and so forth, right? So that's our mission and vision. Yeah, love. Thank you for having me. Looking forward for the conversation.
Perfect. So, Dr. Mudassir, there is one question that I get a lot when I meet with the supply chain professionals. So, when we talk about the supply chain and other core departments in a company, supply chain is not given that preference in terms of like the way the founder of a company would be attracted to a marketing department, the same way they will not value the supply chain department. So I would like to know why this behavior exists in the market and what exactly is the reason behind that, and why like supply chain is a core aspect of a business but it is not given that much importance. So what are the core reasons behind that? And yeah, we will come to the solutions later.
I think because historically, supply chain as a field, as a body of knowledge, has been progressively developed, right? I think the word logistic existed for more than 100 years, right? So there was the first research paper which has the word mentioned logistics in 1912, right? So it's not a new thing. Logistics was generally associated with the war, or when basically what the thing is, if somebody wants to develop a base somewhere, they send army. When they send army, then army needs to move their stuff. So to move the stuff, they have to make a railroad or truck, or any they have to move stuff through trucks and stuff. Therefore, they are the biggest, let's call it, pioneers in logistics. Anything in the army sector, or in the warfare. Anyway, But then in the businesses in 1980s, it was like admin function. They used to call it purchasing, and logistics used to be separate in production. Then in 1990s, it's become materials management, which is more about planning, and then logistics is more about warehousing. Then in 2000, they realized, okay, then the whole end-to-end supply chain, which is management of the suppliers, supplying the parts to production, and the distribution is full end-to-end knowledge, is known as supply chain management, where we manage information flow, material flow, and money flow. And now recently with the technology, it's been realized is it so innovation is difficult, right? Now companies are realizing they want to compete with customer service. And how you improve customer service? You can improve customer service by improving your supply chain, right? Because
Yeah.
innovation is very difficult. So now I think the C level, especially after COVID, people have realized the supply chain is a proper function which should have been given a same level of, I won't call it respect, because respect is not the right word, attention, as they would have done through marketing, or they would have done through finance, or they would have done through sales, right? Because sales cannot sell and if you don't have a parts available on time, right? And if you don't have a part, that means you don't have a good supply chain. But it's a progressive body of knowledge, and SCMDOJO, I think we find it a bit lucky in this space that we are one of the pioneers who's making this knowledge available to not just hundreds of people, basically hundreds of thousands of people in the last 4 or 5 years, right? So pretty happy that we did not, I mean, put it this way: marketing 15 years ago is not the marketing same right now, right? So
Yeah.
if you are a marketing professional, then you're doing billboards, you're doing magazine, you're doing TV. Right now, all of this is obsolete, right? That means you have to be more a digital marketer, and you have to know SEO, you have to know social media marketing, influencer marketing, so on and so forth. So professions go through the same evolution as the industries goes through with the advent of technology, and that's what happening in supply chain in Pakistan. Again, is it's still very much in the infancy, mostly because of lack of knowledge. But still, there's a lot of established companies who have a function of supply chain. Clearly, supply chain is not at the C level, but that's what we are pushing. We are promoting supply chain as a career of choice where you can join, where you can make money, you can travel, and you can have fun.
Great. Like I got your point. The way you linked the history with what is happening right now. I would link another point here. So, for example, when we talk about a supply chain strategy implication in a company, for example, if we say like marketing was able to push the sales from this level to this, it is like clear, very clear thing that this is the revenue now, and we did this strategy, and now this is the revenue. But when it comes to supply chain, those financial numbers are hard to reflect on the you can say on the balance sheet. So how would you say what are the core aspects like that we need to consider, and how we can at the founder level how it can be like reflected on the balance sheet in a way that if you are applying this strategy it is giving this result. So I would like to know some example from your experience that you have implemented, so that there is like a clear you can say a case study kind of thing for the audience.
Actually, understanding the impact of supply chain improvement optimization to the bottom line for any business owner is a lot more easier than marketing. Because with marketing, you say, okay, you've done something for branding, but how much of that is converted into top line sales? Very difficult to find correlation, right? But it's not difficult in supply chain. So supply chain is still considered as a support cost. So if you see a P&L, right? So it's a top line sales, then you have a support cost, then you have a cost of goods sold, which includes whatever you make, a product, right? Which includes labor, material, overhead. So we as supply chain people is not the part of the product cost, right? We are a support cost. Means the cost of distribution, the cost of people who are managing supply chain, etc., etc. Right. So keeping that in mind, so you are into e-commerce business, right? If you want to deliver some stuff through last mile delivery, for example, from the warehousing, so you actually what are you doing right now in the e-commerce people? I'm going to give e-commerce examples so you understand. So you're sourcing from China, for example, right? Okay, you're buying something for $1, but you have been buying it for last 1 year. If I can find your stores being a supply chain guy because strategic sourcing is supply chain, which will you can buy at 90 cents. Same thing, same quality, same delivery, right? So you are
Yeah.
basically saving 10 cent per product, correct? So if you are
Great.
basically selling 1,000 of those a month, that we multiply by 1 cent, that means you are saving how much? $100. That
Yeah.
$100 is a bottom line you can show in your P&L. Same product, right? Imagine you are doing, 100,000, then you are talking about, more than that. It's $10,000 on the bottom line. One example. Furthermore, so when you move stuff from a shipping line, right, to China to, for example, Europe, as you know, being an e-commerce right now, the shipping cost was extremely expensive, right? The containers was like ridiculous price of $27,000 or whatever, right? But right now it comes down to I think 1,200 to 200 $2,000, something like this.
Yeah.
So the cost of the shipment is again directly correlated to the landed cost. So if you find a cheaper way to move stuff through sea, air, or rain or train, whatever, that means you're directly impacting to the bottom line of the business. Right now, we
Yeah.
move to the warehouse. Okay, we move to the warehouse. After moving to the warehouse, you're using 3PL, right? 3PL generally charge you cost per pallet. I mean, there's ridiculous contractual agreement I've seen. There was a company I was consulting, believe me or not, they are basically supplying a jewelry on an e-commerce marketplaces in UK, right? They're importing from China. They have this contract from some 3PL that they have to pay for I think 20,000 pounds per month for a space of 200 pallets, and which is a very bad contract because you don't have to fix because your volume can go up and down, right? What
Yeah.
you do is to have a contract which say 1 minute, which you have a contract which say pounds per pallet per product, right? So you move from a very fixed cost model to a variable cost model. Again, you pay for the service you use. Again, technically they don't have to pay 20,000. In fact, they only have to pay 1,400 pounds per month for the material they are carrying. Now, last mile. When you move to last mile, you can do consolidation or you can have your own fleet. If you do consolidate and use some other transportation consolidated provider, it will be more cheaper, right? Because that's what they do for a living, right? So the point I'm making is following. At every step, you can identify the logistics cost and you can calculate the cost saving.
Yeah. I think you can
One
take a
minute.
break. Yeah. Yeah. You can take a break.
Yeah, all good. So basically, you will not be able to identify the cost saving if you don't know the current cost, right? The first thing you need to do, how much of each part of supply chain is costing you, and then we can go and find the alternative solution for that.
Great. I think you covered the sourcing, whole warehousing, and then the last mile part, and the landed cost with the freight cost. One question here. For example, when it comes to inventory optimization, how in that part how do you reflect the cost there, because these all aspects that you stated right now are a little bit clear, like very clear, but when it comes to that part where cash flow and if I push the sales or if I store the inventory, that is the problem. So can you list some factors there to help the audience on that, and e-commerce example will work best.
Very good question. There's a concept called inventory carrying cost. So if you go to SCMDOJO and or just search inventory carrying cost, we have a I've written a blog which called 11 factors which contributes to inventory carrying cost. So let me explain easily what it means, and I explain you how to calculate as well. So let's assume you're carrying 100 pallets of whatever, baby pampers, something in a warehouse. Yeah.
Yeah.
Inventory is nothing but a money in the shape of product. That's what it is. It's sitting in the money. So this, unless this inventory moves, you can't get the money back, right? So you bought something for, for example, easy maths. You got 100 pallets. Each pallet is about $1,000. Then you're literally sitting on, $100,000 of the product.
100,000.
Yeah. Yeah. So with that said, if you are only moving 10 pallets a month, that means technically speaking, you got 10 months of inventory, right? And
Makes
you are
sense.
paying, okay, then you are paying rent on it. right? You are paying people cost who is moving stuff. you in UK, I don't know about in Pakistan. In UK, you also pay insurance of the goods because the more inventory you have to pay insurance,
Yeah.
right? Okay. In Pakistan, people should pay insurance as well because you never know if the warehouse is burned down, then you're screwed, right? You pay insurance, you pay people, you pay the system cost. There's a warehousing cost. There's a movement of the cost. All of this cost is nothing to do with actually the inventory you have purchased. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the more inventory, that means more factors associated to carry inventory. You with me so far?
Yep.
Yeah. Now, imagine somebody told the boss saying, "You're a bit dumb here. Why the hell you're sitting on 10 months of inventory? You should have only 5 months of inventory because your lead time is 3 months from China, right? And replenish on top. Great. Then what happened is, same person now sitting on 50 pallet, which were, $50,000. Okay. That means you are paying less insurance, you are paying less warehouse cost, you're paying less movement cost, you're paying less people cost, right? You're paying less space cost and insurance as well, right? So that means your inventory carrying cost is gone down as well. You with me so far?
Yeah.
Right. Now,
100%.
the thing is, it's because there's so many factors. If you sit down with any financial person, its calculation get complicated. Okay. But remember, it's all about cash flow, is all about inventory, is basically money sitting in a different form. Now, I have found an easier way to calculate this, and I'll tell you how. Let's assume, so the 50, you have $100,000 of inventory. You have, I'm a great supply chain consultant. I've told you, you don't need 100,000, you need only 50 pallets, this is $50,000. And the remaining $50,000, you have put that money in a bank, right? You don't do anything, put it in the bank. When you put that money in a bank, what happened to that money?
Yeah, that can just stay there, or if you want to, you can get some percentage on top of that.
Exactly. That means money is now making you money sitting in a, okay.
Yeah.
Interest is haram and all that, but in generally, even in Pakistan, you put the money in the bank, you make some money by running some insurance, right? So that means let's assume you got 10,000, 10% is your annual return on that money. Yeah. You can buy a bonds, you can do whatever, right, with that money. You can invest somewhere and have a 10% return. It's easy. 10% is easy, right? So that 10% is basically inventory carrying cost. Because if you take that money and you put it out there, right, that means the money can make further money. So you can say that 10% is the opportunity lost or the inventory carrying cost, right?
Agreed.
So what we used to say, so if you reduce the inventory, you should you I mean, there's a saying from Tim Cook, the CEO of Apple, the famous supply chain guy who's the CEO now. He said inventory is like a daily product. If you don't ship it quickly, it will be bad, right? So my suggestion is you just need to do this inventory carrying cost calculation. If it is difficult, you can say, okay, if I reduce inventory, the art is you have to reduce inventory without compromising on-time delivery and the lead time to a customer. And this is where smart inventory planning, like demand planning or inventory optimization, come into the play, right? Which is what we do. So good planners. So I say following. I've done the consulting where there was like they're sitting on 60 days of no sorry 6 months of inventory and the lead time was like 4 months to a customer. We have reduced the inventory to half and we have also reduced the lead time half to half. So the
Yeah.
good supply chain planning is you have to reduce inventory and you have to reduce the lead time. That means you are supplying to a customer faster, better, quicker with the lower inventory, right? Therefore, you improving the cash flow and the return on capital.
Great. Yeah, I think you need to take a look at all aspects and then decide a strategy there, because like just looking at the, like just improving the, you can say, the inventory moving time, you can take a look at the lead times as well, and overall improve the supply chain. So I think, I'm sure you have like those, the way you mentioned, you have multiple points. I guess we have more depth in this domain, but for time being, we can keep it short right now. But yeah, that
So
really sums up the
I just
whole.
say, so see, when they people do inventory management, I'm gonna say one thing, and you're gonna serve you very well. People focus on demand, actually.
Yeah,
Demand forecast. Nah, demand is demand. If you want to manage inventory better and quicker, you have to focus on lead time, either manufacturing lead time or supply lead time. The better you are in management, the supply lead time and the manufacturing lead time, the better you are in inventory management. Very simple question. You are a clever guy, I know that. If I say to you, if inventory sorry, is lead time, purchase lead time or manufacturing lead time is directly proportional to inventory or inversely proportional to inventory? What do we answer? I'll ask my question
purchase
again.
lead. Yeah,
Purchase lead time is directly proportional to inventory value or inversely proportional to inventory value?
purchase lead time will be inversely proportional.
Is actually directly proportional to inventory value. The more lead time, the more inventory you have to carry.
Yeah, got it. Yeah, so yeah, exactly, because you have to then create a safety stock level for that lead time, and then your inventory level will go up.
So if you want to reduce inventory, reduce lead time. Simple tip.
Great, great, great. Taking on discussion from here to a little bit of a topic that is more of an interest of mine, especially. So, there are like three terms that we often use when we are working kind of in a startup environment where we are focusing on, growing a company or creating something around that. So we use like three words, strategy, tactic, and goals. And when we are having discussion last time, you gave a very sum up discussion on these, like how we can differentiate between those and how we can align those with what we are trying to achieve and align that with our vision. So can you briefly explain like how these what are actually these terms and how we can align that with our vision?
Being a startup, being a small business, being a big business applies to same. It's pretty much people use excessively interchangeably, but they are not, right? So,
Yeah,
what is strategy? Let's start from the strategy. For example, you are a e-commerce company who is helping people to do inventory management better or helping the supply chain, right? That's what you're doing, right? Okay. So to do that, what's the strategy? Strategy is a set of decision under certain direction, right? What you can't say is, okay, we are people who is helping e-commerce in managing their inventory or their listing on the e-commerce portal, and you somehow say we can also help you in hiring better people. No, but that's not your strategy. Your strategy is a certain, so we decide that
yeah,
we want to be, our business model is basically focusing on supply chain. So we improve people knowledge, we provide them tools, and then we provide them software, right? So by doing that, we can help them thrive in the supply chain. So everything I'm going to do is in that direction. So that is the high level strategy. Now tactics. Tactics is a level down, which feeding into the strategy. For example, in your case, would we say, okay, we will work with our e-commerce customers and we will take their processes and we understand their processes. We're gonna map them out and we're gonna optimize them. If there's something automation need to happen, we're gonna do automation. If there is maybe a task which can be done cheaper, quicker, we will do that as well. So what you will come up is some tactical, let's call it initiatives, which will contributing to the strategy. Okay. In my case, we said, okay, we're gonna develop the biggest library of supply chain courses. We have developed tools like in supply chain KPI dashboard, inventory optimization tool, procurement KPI dashboard, logistics KPI. All of these tools are practical tools which gonna help the person which we are trying to help into supply chain thrive. So are the courses. Now we are building this expert platform, which again is a separate tactical decision. But the point
got it.
is, for example, I don't know everything about e-commerce, but you know a lot. And somebody is looking for a supply chain expert in e-commerce, then I'm going to connect you with them, right? But again, it was a tactical decision to make a platform. So again, everything needs to contribute to the higher level strategy. So our high level strategy is
Strategy.
we want to help you supply chains, right? So strategy and tactics. Now we go down is the goal. How are you going to measure it, right? So how are you going to measure that you are helping? So our KPIs are, for example, number of people who's taken our course, what are our engagement levels, our visitors, how many sign up, of course, how much money we are making in that as well, how many downloads, so on and so forth. Okay, so you have to decide what are your KPIs. So for example, if what you're doing, you said you want to help people do e-commerce supply chain better, then the thing is how you define better. So you can say, okay, when I'm taking this customer on board, it has X amount of inventory, X amount of lead time, X amount of poor processes. We have taken it up and we have reduced by X percentage, or we have reduced the inventory, improved the delivery, and we have basically get rid of 5 manual processes, and now we come up with 3 automated solution. Then you have a KPI, so you can measure the current state, whatever that said it, show the improvement. But again, the goals or the KPIs needs to be contribute to the tactical decisions or the initiative you have made, which should be contributing to the strategy.
Got it. Yeah. So strategy is like a top level, then you have tactics to support them, and goals are like those minor chunks that goes on through tactics to strategy. And I think that is a very good way to keep yourself aligned with what
And
you are doing and just to not lose the direction in the process.
yeah, and there's one more dimension in this x-axis, that there's a dimension of time.
Yeah.
So strategy is long-term thing, right? Minimum 1 to 5 years kind of thing, right? You don't see it happening right now. But tactical decisions are like quarterly, monthly thing, right? That means you say, okay, we try to do this. Can we see the results or not? But your goals could be monthly, could be weekly, could be daily. So
Yeah.
for me, when I was supply chain manager, I want to hit 95% on time delivery. I used to have a meeting every day with my planners and manufacturing guys. What was the on time delivery yesterday? How many lines we have shipped? Why we have missed? Analyze, fix, plan, do, check, act.
Got it. Perfect. Yeah, it totally, it aligns you with what you are doing and keep you like streamlined in the vision that you are going towards. So I will have one final question before I close this. So I would like to know, like, you are living in UK and as well as in Gulf for a very long time. So how do you see the growth of supply chain right now, especially in Gulf? Sorry, the growth of e-commerce and how you're seeing it growing in the coming years.
I think COVID has been a blessing for two professionals, I would say. One is supply chain, second is e-commerce. Because when you sit at home and you order stuff, I think it was not pretty common. I mean, even in my family, you would not believe people would order grocery, your milk and your, rice and all that. Typically you have to go to a shop or, like a grocery store or a big mart, Carrefour or whatever to buy. But now it's pretty common, right? And I think it's gone beyond products actually. Now it's gone to into service sector, right? I mean, e-commerce. Believe me or not, you can order services which you can deliver to home sitting at Amazon, right? So I think UK has been pretty established anyway. It's growing fast fashion, delivery, food delivery, products, so on and so forth. Even I can't remember last time when I went to shopping for my clothes. I mean, I just go online and order and just deliver. So the point is, it's only gonna go up, right? There will be more and more opportunities, especially in the market which are not mature, like Pakistan. I think is a great opportunity, right? It will get better. So Middle East, yes, is there, but because of this, what will happen is I mean, as we know, I mean, we can mention the name. The dominance is with two, three players like Alibaba, Amazon, and so on and so forth. But I think this e-commerce industry needs to be a bit more segmented and segregated. That the monopoly of few
Yeah.
platform needs to go a bit down to be have more fair play. Because right now I don't think so. So there is a
I think yes,
fair
that is a very important
fair
point
play.
because right now, if you see Amazon, they are taking up a lot in terms of Amazon fees, and it keeps on increasing. So there is a no check and balance, or you cannot counter it because they are capturing the whole market. So
Exactly,
that is a
exactly.
really good. Yeah,
And there is another issue. So if you start your own brand or something you're selling through Amazon, they actually stop your growth after a certain level. Either if for the categories which is growing, what they do is, which I find strange and a bit like a bit ethically questionable as well, that they can bring their own brand. Now they have a, believe me or not, the 17% of their sales is from clothing. They were not selling clothing of their own Amazon brand 5 years ago. Now
Yeah.
and therefore, and I tell you this tip right now, the biggest shift, the big brands like Nike or Puma, or just I'm saying the name because I can't really more. These guys have realized that the Amazon is hampering their growth by bringing their own brands cheaper. So now they are looking into the opportunities that how to leverage the same e-commerce differentiation from other channel. It may be their own platform and website, it may be other aggregators, whatever, right? So I think I'm pretty sure there will be a shift, that there will be other mechanisms will be coming in apart from Alibaba and Amazon, disrupting both B2C and B2B marketplaces.
Great insight. I think with that we can close the podcast, and I think it was really nice to talk to you about all these aspects, because I am in the supply chain, and sometimes I'm out of words to talk to anyone. So it is very great to talk to you every time on this specific topic. So,
My pleasure.
Dr. Mudassir, thank you for your time today, and we'll see the reaction of the audience, and maybe we can schedule another event.
Yeah, my pleasure. Happy to help. So if you have any questions,
Perfect.
just say, yeah, follow me on LinkedIn or TikTok or Twitter. I have a handle called at Muddassirism. You'll find me everywhere, and I'm looking forward to working with you, mate.
Perfect. Have a great day to you. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Cheers, guys. Bye bye.
Bye.